Hi, I'm just going to talk real quick about two unions during the Second Industrial Revolution here. The Knights of Labor actually come first. They're more radical, they don't believe in capitalism. The Knights of Labor, they want worker owned factories. They want the workers to take over the factories. And they're much more demanding in terms of what they want from management in order to try to slowly get there. The American Federation of Labor actually comes after. In fact, it's founded in 1886, which is the same time that the Knights of Labor starts to decline. But the American Federation of Labor is more moderate. They support capitalism. In fact, they even support monopolies. They just want workers to be treated properly. Knights of Labor, on the other hand, is very, very, very inclusive. They include more groups into them. They allow women into their groups. They allow blacks into their groups. They allow skilled, unskilled. They allow farmers. They allow immigrants. They allow all types of people in. They don't restrict anyone, except for perhaps, unfortunately, Chinese workers sometimes. But for the most part, they're extremely inclusive. However, the American Federation of Labor is very exclusive, which actually makes it easier for them to negotiate because they're not negotiating between all these different groups, but at the same time, they only allow skilled workers initially, and not just skilled workers, but white male workers that are skilled. And why they want skilled workers, the American Federation of Labor, as opposed to the Knights of Labor that want skilled and unskilled. The AFL, American Federation of Labor, they want skilled workers because they're harder to replace. So if you go on strike, they don't want the management to be able to easily fire off the workers and then hire scabs, replacement workers, because why would they even dream of giving in to your demands if your workers are easy to place? So they want workers that are hard to replace. That's why they want the skilled workers. But they do discriminate. Initially they want white men. Now that does change over the years, but initially white men that are skilled workers that have a certain skill, hard to replace. The Knights of Labor, they start to die off after they're unfairly accused of being behind the Haymarket riot. Put the riot in parentheses there because a lot of the union people say, it wasn't a riot, it was a peaceful protest, and then somebody threw a bomb, then the police acted irresponsibly. But you might remember the Haymarket riot, 1886 in Chicago. Basically, there had been a lot of tensions, 2 people killed prior to that, from strikes with the McCormick factory, and they were going to have the speech, several speeches at night here, going into the night, talking about all the injustices done, and some of the pamphlets they put out said, come armed, or and they kind of regret that, and they put out other pamphlets that doesn't have that in there, but they show up, everything's going peacefully, people are giving their speeches, nothing's going too bad, but then the last speaker of the day, starts talking about, strangling the law, and then the police who had been waiting around the corner come out, and then somebody throws a bomb into them, and then, all heck breaks loose. And then they start to die off. They get a very, very bad name. They start to die off after this. However, the AFL lives on. It's still around today. In fact, it's the biggest union in America today. It's more of an association of unions. There's lots of smaller unions that all belong to the bigger AFL. Now, arguably the most famous man who belonged to the Knights of Labor was Terence V. Powderly. Arguably the most influential leader. Knights of Labor starts in Philadelphia originally, but the AFL, their probably most famous person, at least for the AP U.S. History exam here, is Samuel Gompers, their founder. Actually, he's buried not that far from Andrew Carnegie here, but Samuel Gompers, though, worked really hard to get the AFL out. Knights of Labor, once again, as I said prior, they want worker-owned factories. They're against capitalism. Of course, they want everything else in the meantime. They want better pay. They want safer working conditions. They want, shorter hours and all that. The AFL, they actually want those same things. Now, they want capitalism to stay in place. They're fine with that. but they want all union workplace, and they want, you know, the safer working conditions, the better pay, the less hours. And they do work for those things. And by all union workplace, you know what I mean, like a closed shop, that in order to work at this place of business, you have to join the union, you have to be in the union. And that's one of their goals for strengthening their union, is if they can get the management to agree to only hire people if they join the union. That will give them more sway. But that's just a brief rundown of two of the more famous unions in our history. You might also want to look at the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World, nicknamed the Wobblies, led by Big Bill Haywood. They're socialists, you know, they're you know, downfall of capitalism. They're a little bit more like the Knights of Labor in that regard. The IWW Wobblies, you know, they're willing to use violence to get their means. You know, they openly advocate, you know, sometimes you might have to have some type of a revolution to overthrow, you know, these big factory owners and the management exploiting the workers. And the IWW comes a bit later. I believe they were founded in 1906. If not, it's like give or take a year. But so they come along a little bit later, at the very, very end of the Second Industrial Revolution here. But here are the two more likely unions you're likely to see at the AP US History exam. I also gave you a little bit of the Wobblies there too.